the world. Bamboo.
John.
Bad stuff. Bad stuff. Now, where is Sensei? Oh, there he is. So, I was looking for somewhere to train a long time ago now, and I'd been everywhere. I'd been into the city, I went to places in Moorabbin, and I thought, when I get back into karate, I want to give this a crack. And I remember walking to Cloris Street, and Sensei had been going a little while by then, and thought, oh my goodness, these athletes, and they were athletes at the time, were second to none. I couldn't believe the people that were in that dojo, and Sensei was a great guy, and I thought, you could see a respect, and there was a vibe in the dojo. It was a very different dojo back then, and there's been a few changes over the year. It's a little bit more full on. There's a little bit more energy in seeing some of the people that used to train at that dojo. We didn't hold back a lot of the time, and even talking to Sensei the other day about how full on it was even before that. Not so much now. He had a stick in the corner that, every now and again, if you're doing a kata, just to make sure that he'd give you a little bit of a whack in the leg, a whack in the tummy. That's turned into a noodle now. It's like you noodle the kids. There was a lot of jokes. Well, actually, the jokes, inappropriate jokes, you probably still give those a bit. Not as much though. Not as no. Yeah. So when I met Sensei, he'd already made a success. I watched these people come in and train, and watched him, or some of these people that we've seen now, from little kids into really decent human beings, not just karate champions, but champions in life, really. And so, as I've watched this happen over the years, I was lucky enough to walk into that place and ended up being on the state team, funnily enough. I'm thinking, wow, I had no idea how good our club was until I sort of went with other people and went in, started going to competitions and thought, geez, we know what we're doing in this. And I thought, I didn't really know until I left that. But Sensei done a great job and got a lot of people to a level, and a lot of people that are here now, and also coaches. So I think of the people that Sensei has influenced over the years. There's been lots. He has a passion for it that is second to none. Very dedicated. I think there's quite a few people that owe him a bit of debt of gratitude. So we've got dojo owners, students, people that now have their own clubs, and there's a lot here that have their own clubs nowadays. I think over the years, I was thinking of things. He was very innovative and probably ahead of his time. Back in the day, we would do things, even he did one thing the other day, which was like talking eyeball to eyeball. And so, there's method in the madness. That was like got people to increase their confidence and learn to actually make eye contact. And a few other things we had. I remember the wrestling with the shirts off, that was one. I remember meditation that come in and actually having someone. In fact, one of the times you actually had you left someone meditating in the middle, and you got everyone to leave, and we were all out in the space outside. And a teenager who was a bit of a pain was sitting there, and he'd given it this one. We were all out in the viewing area. It was hilarious. But I started to think about all the fun things that we did. The training has always been rock solid, and that's been my saving grace really for a long time. Talking to some people before about that's been my constant. The camps that a lot of us have been to, the camps are always fun down at Granville. We had, I'm trying to think what else. Chuka, yes. So the 4 seasons, I just think it's been fun. Where Sensei would go, we've got our fun run, so get ready to go, and he'd say, okay, everyone needs to be at the start line, and we'd turn around, and him and Sensei 80 are already off 300 metres down the road. Every freaking time we fall for it, we'd go, what's on that? Can someone go and grab that? And we'd look back, and they'd be gone. So, things changed over a little bit. COVID was quite hard, but Sensei was still passionate. We had our 6 a.m. training sessions on a Friday morning. That was a little bit difficult at times, but always pushing the envelope. It's funny because I remember talking to someone the other day, and we're talking about we had a dance studio next to the Cloris Street one. And there were some quite good-looking girls that used to do dance in that place. And Sensei decided that there was similarities between karate and dance. And so they worked out we were going to combine the two. And I think he called it Donate or Dante. And we had the girls come into the dojo, and we were going to do a little bit of dance and a little bit of karate. I think that lasted about 2 sessions, and it might have been a collective dribble that we're not going to come back. But always pushing the envelope, always pushing for something better for the club and something better for the people there. So I've been training there for a long time. I was a little bit sad. It's funny when I was on Facebook. This is starting to get really long. I'm going to finish. Sensei Shihan Lindsay had put something on Facebook, and someone said, "Oh, in Frankston, does anyone know a karate space and a place and somewhere that'd be good to go?" And he was plugging his own club, of course. But he said that the most important thing is making sure that the sensei that is running that is able to connect with the people, and that there is a connection there. And so I've always said, Sensei makes that connection really well, and so he cares about people, and so that's been the difference for him as compared to some of the other dojos that don't really last. The ability to build a rapport, and sometimes that's lost. People think it's about the training and it's just about the kicks and punches, and it is not necessarily that way. And so I thought, that is why he's been so successful over the years. Also, Di was mentioning before. Where's Di?
Here, I'm at the bar.
Yeah, there you go. So, a big thank you to Di as well, because Di's also heading off. So, I think Bridie's about to find out, as I am, how much goes on in the background. I thought I knew, but I had no freaking idea what was going on. So, yeah, a big thank you to Di, who allowed, it was really Bruce's right hand, really behind him, sometimes kicking him forward, but was there to help out. But yeah, I think it's going to be. I was a little bit sad that Sensei was going for a little bit, and I thought, because I didn't know any different, that was my training. But then, after talking to a couple, I thought he's living his dream. So he gets to go to Thailand. He's just going to do his yoga and his bloody Muay Thai, and he just gets to live out his days and come back and visit and go, that's crap, and fix that or not. Yeah, and I thought, and it made me feel better to think that he's living out the days and living his dream life. So I would like to say, sayonara, Sensei. Hope it all goes well.
Sensei Bruce and I have got very similar backgrounds, and not for one moment I'm going to compare myself to Sensei Bruce, because his ability's up there and I'm much, much lower. But we do have similar backgrounds. We were at small karate clubs. We had no Japanese affiliation, and our ranks weren't recognised. So we did it pretty hard in many, many ways, that we had to really earn our keep. And Sensei Bruce was one of them. And we first met in 1975, and him as a karateka was excellent. Elite, and you knew straight away. And his club, ISHINRYU, you knew he cared, and he did it tough. He had to go all the way to England, met the world chief instructor Sensei Tiki Donovan, and decided to join, and never looked back. And ISHINRYU has always been a very, very good club. And I personally, whenever I fought any of his students, I was pretty keen to beat them because they were so good. Jeff Michaelides, welcome Jeff, he's one of the older students there. I fought him many times. I don't think I ever beat him either, so...
no one did.
Eh?
No one
did. No, that was the way it was, and so he always cared. And he led from the front, and no wonder he was so successful for many, many years. A lot of people say he's retired, but no way he's going to retire. He'll still continue his martial arts journey over in Thailand. And I do wish you well, Sensei Bruce and Di. And I wish the organisation well also. So Sensei Nige, if you ever want any advice, hopefully I can help you out, and I'll be glad to. So it's going to be tough. The next 6 months to a year, the first year is always the hardest. And I'm sure you'll do well. And I'm sure the club will do well, and hopefully you'll get a lot of support. But if you don't, I'll be there for you. All right. But just by looking here, there's people of all different generations, and you're all just good in different ways, and it's great to see so many people that I haven't seen for many years. But to you, Sensei Bruce, without a doubt, he has been by far the most influential in the AKF Victoria. He's done more, and I'm not exaggerating, I'm not saying it because he's my mate, but he's done more for Karate Victoria than anyone else. And it's because of that guy there, the Karate Victoria, in the position they are today. And so he doesn't just care about ISHINRYU Karate Victoria. He's helped so many people, not only within the organisation, but even me personally. And I always looked up to him, copied a lot of his stuff, probably never told him that, but I did. Every time we went to a camp, he took some amazing stuff, and I banked it. And I took it at my dojo. I all thought I was great. But true story, and the sessions that he took, at the dojo, at the camps that we had. We ran camps for over 20 years. And 28 years, unbelievable. And we'll never argue, maybe once or twice. But, and he led from the front. And that's a sign of a good coach. Always led from the front. First in, last to leave. And his dedication is to be admired. So, love you, Sensei. And I wish you well. And I thank everyone here for coming. Stuart Kagan, one of his oldest members, is here. Just shows you the amount of respect he's got. So thank you all. And again, finally, wish you both well in your new venture in overseas in Thailand, in near Hua Hin. And it just should be awesome. So I'm looking forward to seeing you next month as well. So thank you all. Wow. Bunch of notes here, so please give me the opportunity to. The narrative is going to be the way I want it. So there's going to be a lot of creative license here. So when I sort of talk about individuals or people, or a decade, or something about nature, it's because that's how I saw it. We started off in Chelsea. We moved to Bentley. Some of you will remember, I'm sure Jeff will and Shane will. We moved to Bentley above the theatre. Then we moved to Tucker Road. Then we moved to Seaford. But in between that, we also trained, as Shane just told me before, we used to train underneath the Woolworths car park in Centre Road and Tucker Road. What do you name it?
South Road.
South Road.
Close.
Something. Anyway, then we moved to the Peninsula Indoor Sports Centre for a number of years. Then we moved to the Peninsula Boulevard. We were there for nearly 25 years. And then we moved to Hartnett Drive, the love of my life. And, of course, that disappeared a couple of years ago. And then we're now at ISHIN. There's been thousands of students and thousands of students. Many black belts, and many of you in this room here today are black belts in my dojo. We had 4 seasons. I'm just reading in sort of point form here, I'm sorry to say. I'll try and get to some sort of crazy story in a moment. We had 4 seasons. We had 80 of them. And for those people who came along to them, who were there at the first one and who were there at the last one, you'll always remember the 4 seasons because they were absolutely sensational. They created what was probably now the VKO, and or it was a forerunner to the VKO. And the 4 seasons was a highlight. I always remember a number of people, very more distinguished than myself, who said to us, well, we were going to do that. And I thought, well, if we were going to do it, why didn't we bloody do it? Anyway, so we started off with those 4 seasons, and of course, the reason why we started the 4 seasons was because so that people like Jeff Michaelis, Peter Russo, Shane McDowell, all those particular people, we could go and
competitions every couple of months so that we become the best, or maybe the best, as best as we could possibly become. So there was 80 of them. And there was the Gashku, which went from 1989 to 2016. For 28 years, myself and a good buddy, wherever he's just over here. Oh, you're over there talking to Richard Martin about bloody some sort of marketing, are you? No. Anyway, so we had 28 years of the Gashku, and like everything, we just couldn't go on, could we? We ran out of steam. And but we had the greatest time. And those Gashkus, for those people who did come along to those Gashkus, I think you would have had a ball, absolute ball. They inspired other people, probably from Sydney, to do them too. I happened to be the state coach from along the way in 1975, and I must make this point out because I have some friends from Shukukai here today, and one of those Shukukai people, Sonny Leonardi, gave me this idea to have this sort of thing, and it was her instructor, Alan Murdoch, whom I met in 1975. I'll tell you the exact date actually, the 31st of August at the Bob Jones competition. Most of you weren't born then, and Kelly was just born that year. Yeah. So the thing was that I met Alan, and Alan and I were best mates for all the time, right up to nearly when he passed away. And we became mates because neither of us had instructors. We didn't have an instructor. We immediately kicked it off. It took me ages to learn how to understand what he was saying. The worst part of it, when he was with his brother, and then he came back to me, he was like, golly, it didn't work. But anyway, we used to train twice a week, and ISHINRYU guys, and our dojo, and then it became ISHINRYU. Our dojo always used to intermingle. We used to go there on a Friday nights. Alan and I used to catch up at least twice a week. And I was at one stage, and we were talking about this to Sonia before, that in 1981, there would have been a possibility, or whatever, that we may have become Shukukai. But unfortunately, fortunately for me, that didn't happen. We became ISHINRYU under Sensei Kihon, which was great. So coming back to where I was going to be, in 1987 to 2000, I was a senior state coach. We had a lot of fun, myself, Morgan, and Matt Morgan, and Morgan Abazad, and Alan. We were a pretty close-knit group. There wasn't many people that actually entered that group. Every assistant coach we ever had never lasted very long, I don't think. Anyway, we learned a lot of things along the way and so forth, and I got the opportunity to become a national coach between 92 and 2005. And over there, sitting over there, he's come all the way from Lismore to be here tonight, I think. I think he came here. He always come here for football or cricket or something. I come down to see him, that's what came down. And he was my captain at that particular time. And one of my very first missions in Oceania and so forth. So that was fantastic. We had a great time. And well, let me go on to the things that you did. The things that came out of our dojo were style world champions, British champions, USA champions, Turkish champions, and I take on board one of our other people, our World Games champion. Good on you. She allowed me to take them on. We had a Puko champions, Oceania champions, national champions, state championships. Lots and lots and lots and lots of people who made open competitions and won those competitions, like the NAS and all those particular competitions. We did extremely well in every avenue that we had to do, and I couldn't have made me prouder. And maybe Nigel struck on it before. He said we trained very, very hard, and I think it says it on that particular flyer we put over there in the corner. My very good friend Anne, who's in the kitchen, who working hard away, she put it all together for me. So we had a list of champions from the ages, and of all sorts of various people. The list of champions. Oh, that's what I was going to do. I was going to turn over the page. That's what I was going to do. I wrote myself a note that I was going to turn over the page. Good. Let me just. In the 70s, it was Jeff Michaelides, Peter Russo. In the 80s, these are just a couple of people from each particular group are here today. Shane Liddell. They were all from the 70s. And Chris couldn't make it tonight. He unfortunately caught COVID. It was Chris Hill, Rebecca Payton, Dean Rocco, John O'Shaughnessy. And John O'Shaughnessy is here today. And he was one of the champions of the 80s. In the 90s, we had a huge amount of people. The Hughes boys over there, where are you boys? Put your hands up. I don't think anybody will recognise you, Paul.
You don't look like anymore.
You don't recognise him, Chris. Okay, it was, of course, Chris and Stuart Cavey. I'm just going to rattle out a couple of names. Nigel Knight. There's a lot of champions in the 90s, and as I say, they're just a few people that were here. In the 2000s, we've got Emily Reid on that. Where's Emily now? She's still here. She had to go. Okay, Emily was here and so forth. And Kieran Shaw and Lachlan Wye. I see Lachlan's here today. Good to see Lachlan. Kieran Shaw and Kieran's here too. Where's Kieran?
Yeah, let's go work.
Oh, I had to go to work, did you? Oh, that's why you dressed up.
Yeah,
Okay. And of course, Maria Lexiadis, we pronounced her as one of ours. She came with lots of extra seminars for us. And then, of course, in the 2000s, there was Daniel Booker. We've got a couple of silver medals at last year's WKA World Karate Championships, and congratulations to him. And like I say, I've got pages and pages of people who did lots and things and so forth. And even today, we had a grading. And for those people who weren't aware of this, we had a grading today. We had some grading for first dance and second dance and third dance. And all those particular people, just put your hand up if you're still here. If you're here, put your hand up. Those people who got first and second dance and third dance. Last year, it was one of the best gradings that we've done, and I think some of the other instructors like Richard Stevenson and so forth. So we're very, very proud of that. Some of our students have gone on to become state champions, state coaches, and some of them even national coaches. Like Stuart Caden is a state coach, others have become national coaches. But I'd like to just acknowledge a couple of people. Sensei Nigel, he's already pointed out to people, he's going to become the